Welcome back to ESBR Boxing's YouTube channel. Delighted, as always, to be joined by Paul Kelly. These are our final predictions ahead of the big fight tonight between Dalton Smith and Jose Zepeda in Sheffield. Paul, looking forward to this one. It's a real crossroads fight. We've had the weigh-in. Both fighters have made weight. It looks like a really exciting one. Zepeda, he's stood the test of time. He's been in with some fantastic names during his career. Dalton Smith, undefeated, kind of seen as a real prospect in Britain, someone who we expect to go on and win world titles and possibly be involved in pay-per-view fights. But yeah, has to get through Jose Zepeda first. We'll go through the latest betting odds. We're now hours away from the fight. Dalton Smith 1-3 to win, so quite a strong favourite with the bookies. 2-1 to win by stoppage and 1-1 to win by decision. So fairly split over how he's going to win. Jose Zepeda 5-2 just to win, 5-1 to win by KO, and 5-1 to win by decision. Both punchers, both have got good kind of KO records, so I think a stoppage could possibly be on the cards here, or not. We shall see. Paul, give me your thoughts on those betting odds there. Just kind of this 5-2 on Zepeda winning appeal to you? 5-1 for him to win by stoppage. Or would you be going safe and backing Dalton Smith?
Yeah, thanks for having me on, mate. I think they're quite interesting, those odds, in my opinion. Say it's no surprise that Smith is the favourite, obviously, given that, the matchroom machine behind him, that he's, fighting in his hometown. He's looked flawless so far. He's the one on the rise, the next rising prospect, future world champion, all of that. And then, Zepeda's obviously coming in off, he's had three or four defeats. Last time out, he was comprehensively outboxed by Richardson Hitchens as well. So that they're probably all the factors that lead into those odds. But I think 5-2 is far too wide for William Zepeda. I mean, I'm sure we'll come on to our final predictions right at the end of the video, but without kind of giving mine away and stuff, I think the value's definitely with Zepeda. How often are you and I sitting here talking about betting odds and like it's not necessarily our prediction, but there's just all of the value is in backing the underdog, and I think that here is the case as well. And like there'll be plenty of people that think Zepeda can pull this off. I think 5-2 just to win, great price. But if you were looking for even better value, those interesting ones there, you said was it 5-1 for a stoppage?
Yeah,
Um, we don't know how Dalton Smith, what his chin will react like if he gets hit clean flush on the whiskers by a puncher, because Zepeda he's a puncher. He's got a good KO percentage, as you mentioned, and he's plenty of knockdowns in fights as well, and plenty of knockouts. So, how will Dalton Smith react if William Zepeda does land right on Jose Zepeda lands right on his chin? It's interesting, mate. Definitely value there with Zepeda. I'm not sure what you think, but yeah, massive value there.
yeah, for sure. I think there's a couple of factors here. It's kind of how good is Dalton Smith really? Because I think most of us don't kind of really know. Is he going to be kind of fringe world level? Is he going to be a world champion? Is he going to be a three weight world champion? We don't really know. And like the guy, like he's only 15-0. He's not had a whole bunch of fights, and this is just the biggest factor in this fight is it's a big step up from Sam Maxwell, and that's no disrespect to Sam Maxwell, but it really is. I think another factor is Jose Zepeda last fight pretty much lost every round to Richardson Hitchens. And does that mean that Zepeda's kind of on the slides, not as good as he was, or is Hitchens just a unreal, fantastic fighter who's going to be kind of world level for years to come? I think those are the factors here. But I think for Zepeda to win by stoppage at 5-1 would certainly tempt me. I would describe this as like maybe a 65-35 split fight in Dalton Smith's favour. It's just kind of giving away my final prediction, but this is Zepeda's a live opponent. He just happened to come across someone who dominated him in his last fight. But if you look at his resume, he stood the test of time. I think it's just a question over in his 42nd fight at the age of 34. Can he still hang with someone significantly younger than me, significantly younger than him, significantly fresher than him as well? So it's a really interesting one, and I'm really looking forward to it. Without further ado, Paul, I'll hand it over to you for your final prediction ahead of Dalton Smith versus Jose Zepeda.
just before I do give my final prediction, one more thing, sorry, that I do want to add is like if you look at Zepeda, the way he got outboxed by Hitchens last time out, yeah, Hitchens has showed that he is world class, that he is all the makings of becoming world champion. We'll know more about that after the fight and whether Dalton Smith does, deals with him in the same way. But what I would say is, see if you're Jose Zepeda, you're kind of fighting almost for your career here because he won't be happy with how that Hitchens fight went. He'll be desperate to put it right. He'll see Dalton Smith as an untested fighter who hasn't really fought anyone at all up at this level. Like, never mind even fringe world level or European level. He's jumping right up from British level. Let's be honest. Um, so yeah, I think he'll be very confident in the win, and like he's going to be kind of a wounded animal, so to speak. But they're definitely dangerous. But that being said, mate, after saying all of that and bigging up William Zepeda, I do believe Dalton Smith wins this fight. I've been high on Dalton Smith for basically since the outset of his pro career. Really, really like his style, the way he goes about things. And yeah, I think that I think he's kind of the full package. He's a good puncher. He's a big knockout artist. But I think he can box as well. I think he'll need to use his boxing here. I think he might have to come through a few hairy moments.
Mm.
Won't have it all of his own way, as you would expect. And when you're fighting someone who is fringe world level, or was at least fringe world level and has challenged for world honors on two or three occasions. But ultimately, I do see Dalton Smith getting his hand raised. I'm going to go points, mate. I would say something like maybe a 116, 112 kind of fight, something like that. That's how I'm seeing it in favor of Dalton Smith. But I don't actually see there being a stoppage here. If Smith is to win, I could maybe see a stoppage if Zepeda is to win. But ultimately, I do believe the Sheffield man gets his hand raised after 12 rounds.
Yeah, I'm going the exact same predictions you actually, Paul. I don't think Dalton Smith will quite get the stoppage. It would be a hell of a statement if he did. But yeah, I'm going with the Dalton Smith points win as well. Cepeda, he's been stopped in the past. I think one of those was an injury to Terry Flanagan. So whether you want to count that as legitimate stoppage or not is up to you. But yeah, I'm going the same as you. I'm going Dalton Smith to win this fight on points in an impressive display. Um, Seeing as we're both going for Dalton Smith to win on points, Paul, just want to touch on what could be next for him. I'm going to ask you, when do you think we could see him fight for a world title? He's ranked in the top 15 with the WBC currently, winning tomorrow night / tonight, depending on when you're watching this video. We'll see him go up those rankings even further. When do you think we could see Dalton Smith fight for a world title?
Oh, well, I would say this year, but then when I look at all the champions at 140 pounds, I'm like, do you want to fight for a world title this year? Um, Not so sure. I think maybe it's more likely that 2025 is the year Dalton Smith will fight for a world title, especially say he wins here on Saturday night. Um, Say he wins and looks good doing so, and then has another win in, I don't know, August, September time against another similar opponent, even maybe a further step up to Zepeda. Then you're like, yeah, all the questions are answered. Now it's time to go. World honors. We don't care who it is, whether that be Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez, whoever. You know what I mean? Sounds crazy putting Dalton Smith against those guys right now, but realistically, he is only a few fights away. So that's how I see it. I don't see it being 2024, potentially 2025.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe we could possibly see him in some sort of final eliminator before the end of this year. That could be the next step. There's the Adam Azim fight that's been mentioned. I think, if we're being honest, it doesn't look like that fight's going to happen in the summer. But we'll see. That Adam Azim has that European title belt. Dalton Smith could possibly fight for that against someone else. We'll see. There's a lot of belts in the air at the moment. A reminder that Dalton Smith is still the British champion. So yeah, there's quite a lot going on there. Paul, good to speak to you. Looking forward to this one. We'll see if we are both right or both wrong. But yeah, looking forward to it. I think it's a really good fight, and we will see what happens. Paul, I will speak to you soon, but for now, all the best.
Cheers, mate, and thanks, guys, for watching.